The Entrepreneurial Journey Podcast. We're talking business and building a culture that's kick-ass. Where we make it happen, grab your seat, let's have a blast. At the Entrepreneurial Journey Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Entrepreneurial Journey Podcast. Today I have Daniel Apke with me. Hello, Daniel. How are you?
Hey, Rebecca, thanks for having me.
Good stuff. Now you're in Florida at the moment and you've just told me there's a hurricane coming.
Yeah, I got about 55-mile-an-hour winds outside right now. So I just told you that if power or something gets delayed, that's what's going on. But I didn't want to have to cancel or anything like that. So just a little bit of weather.
Good. Okay. Brilliant. All right. Well, if we hear anything going on in the background, then we know what's going on. And if we suddenly see a house flying across and witches under houses and red shoes, then we know what's happening. Right. Okay. So your business is you're the founder of Apkeland and you're the founder of, let me get this right, Land Investing on Land, online even. What's the difference between the two businesses?
So Apke Land is actually an investment firm that I have. We're based out of Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm down here in Florida, but we have an office and staff up in Cincinnati, Ohio, and it's an investment firm. It's a land investment firm. So that's what Apke Land does. We invest in land across the U.S. Land Investing Online is an educational course teaching people kind of how to do what we do on that side of things, because I got a lot of freedom from it. I was able to get my brother to quit his job from land investing and all that. So I wanted to kind of spread the word on what it's all about.
Oh, that's really exciting. So you had a proper job before. What
Yep.
did you do?
I was actually an outside salesperson for a company called Palmer Donovan, and I liked the job actually. I was going from customer to customer, it was more account management stuff, selling building material. So I was in the car quite a bit, just driving around 1,000 miles a week or so, driving from customer to customer. But I grew up kind of under the family. My dad was an entrepreneur. He owned a carpet cleaning business, and I always knew I wanted to go to entrepreneurship. So I was always looking for a way out. And I know that's what you preach. I've listened to your stuff, and you teach people how to leave their 9 to 5. So it's kind of the same space in my background as well. That was my ultimate goal. So it's quite the journey to get there. But after a few years of consistent entrepreneurship work, I was able to quit.
Cool. I like that. So was it a case of you were looking for the thing that would enable you to quit, or were you always drawn towards land investing?
No, so originally I was looking for whatever is the easiest path to get me to be able to quit my job. That was my goal. And land investing came not first for me to be able to quit my job. I actually started the first business I ever started was an electric bike company in the US. And that was actually what got me out of my 9 to 5. That I ended up selling that to an investor out in California and completely liquidating and going 100% into real estate and land investing. I also have a rental business and a real estate business up in Cincinnati. But land investing, I wanted land investing for me. Like I would have loved to see that when I was 22, 23, 24. I found it a little bit later on, but that's why I started the educational course, because I was like, this would help my past self. I want to help other people trying to escape. It would have been a quicker route for me personally, but that's what kind of led me there.
That's fascinating. Yeah. So you had a bit of capital from the business you sold.
Correct.
Okay, good. And then at that point, was it just scouting around for the right opportunity, or again, was it like, yeah, let's definitely do the land thing?
Yeah, so I was, like I said, I was in real estate first. So I enjoyed real estate. I had rental properties and stuff, and I saw the potential there. But like traditional real estate, it doesn't provide a full-time income right away. It's more of a long term, like 20, 30-year long-term wealth strategy. Land investing was the opposite. Land investing provided a lot of cash flow. So I was looking around a lot. Actually, when I was in the process of selling my business, I was actually creating my land investing firm. So while I had my other business, I heard of land investing and the business model behind it. And I started looking into it, doing a ton of research, just like anyone does when they perk up and hear a new business model. Did a lot of research, fell in love with it, really did. Like we ended up getting a couple of deals within the first few months and saw the potential in it. And then we went full force. I sold the business and we went completely in, started scaling up and hiring.
Cool. I love that. And is it land and property or just land? What's the model?
You said, is it land or what?
Land and property, or is it just land?
It's raw land,
Right.
raw, vacant, rural America land. We do anything from 2 to 1,000 acres, really. So it's just land with nothing on it at all.
Ooh. I'm intrigued. How do you turn that into cash, profitable cash? What do you do?
So the interesting thing, like if you know about house flipping or wholesaling, everyone knows about it. One of the main differences is so we're both focused on buying under market value land, right? That's the whole name of the game. We got to buy under market value land, and the way we do that, we actually send out mail. That's our main method. We also text and other things, but we send out mail with an offer letter on it. So there's a lot of analytics and stuff getting that offer letter. We send them out in mass quantities, but it's a contract. So the second page is actually a binding contractual agreement between the two parties to sell their property. That's our main source. But the great thing about land, why it's so sustainable, is it's not your house, it's not your shelter, it's not your food, it's not water. It's not a necessity for these people. And
Mhm.
there's so much land in America, Rebecca, you'd be shocked at how many people own land. They don't want their property. They inherit it. They've never been there. They live in New York. They pay taxes on it every year. They want a way out. And then they get that letter for 5 acres for $50,000 cash and close really quickly in 2 weeks. And it provides a ton of value on both sides, which is kind of why I love this. I look at things not 2 to 3 years. I like to look at things 20 to 30 years. Is it still going to be around? I'm building a business. I'm hiring. I want to make sure what I'm doing is sustainable. And that's part of the reason why I fell in love with this.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's a win-win for everybody, isn't it? A piece of land that people are going, crikey, what the heck am I going to do with this?
Exactly.
Burden around my neck. I know a little bit about the US tax system because one of our partners, Jenny, is a US citizen, but she
Okay.
lives in Switzerland. And she said, I have to pay US taxes. I went, you've lived in Switzerland for 20 years. Why are you still paying US taxes? But apparently they follow you everywhere you go.
They like to collect their money, that's for sure.
Don't they just? Right. So yeah, I get that. You're sitting in New York, you're never going to go to this land. It's neither use nor ornament to you. You've
Right.
got, and I like that technique. The offer is there. There's no messing about. It's a done deal. It's easy for them. It's easy for you. Then what do you do with the land?
So typically we go through title, we try to close really quick and stick to our word. That's the thing. We want to provide a lot of value on both sides. I'm not in the game to screw. I know there's a lot of shady real estate models out there. One
Right.
of our core values is actually transparency. We want to be as transparent as possible, close in the time that we're saying we're going to close and really provide a lot of value to those sellers, make them happy at the end of the day. Once we get it, we send it to title, do all that, buy it. We usually just resell it as is because there's so many
Okay.
people out there. And say they live in New York, the property is in, say, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many people in Tennessee that just want that land as is. If there are times where we subdivide it, split it up, do some sort of owner financing to get some cash flow from it, all things land investing, that's what we do. There's a lot of different ways to make money off of it. You can lease it to farmers if it's agricultural land. It's different ways to profit off of it, but the whole name of the game is buying it under market value, and then those options are always there at the end, and you can look at it. You can put a cabin on it if you want. You can prep it for a mobile home. There's a ton of different niches and different things you can do with that land.
Yeah, yeah, there is. Okay, so at what point did you think, right, I'm going to teach other Americans how to do this?
The point where I felt really confident in my business and the business model and knew what I was doing, and I felt like it's very sustainable. I don't want to teach someone something that's going to be here, like I said, 2 to 3 years. I want to
Mhm.
make sure it's going to be around. So I was at the point where we built out the firm, the cash flow and the money was good. And I was getting to a point where I was looking for kind of my next adventure. I don't want to say sidetracked, but I'm interested in a lot of different things. So I thought it was a new challenge. I like new challenges. And
Mhm.
I love scaling businesses from start. That's one of my passions. Like it's so much fun just starting from nothing and really trying to build it up. And I just saw it as another challenge after a few years of land investing successfully. And then I wanted to spread that word and help other people achieve, honestly, their financial and just freedom in general.
Yeah, yeah, nice one. Now, here's the thing. Did you think about franchising it?
I have never thought about franchising it. No.
Yeah, it's
Should I
funny.
be?
Well, I don't know, because we looked at, yeah, we teach people our coaching consulting methodology, as you rightly say, and we market it as Escape 9 to 5 because a bit like you, we want people to have freedom of choice, flexibility, live the life they really want to do. Um, and we looked at
Right.
franchising it, and we could have gone down that route, but felt that actually it was too restrictive for the individuals because franchising means you have to operate in a very specific way. And we thought actually that's the opposite of our ethos. Our whole ethos is about freedom. Look, we'll teach you what we know, and then it's up to you how you use it. And I guess you're doing the same, aren't you? And how are you getting that message across? What platform are you using? Is it just video?
Yeah, exactly. We kind of teach.
Yeah, go on, carry on. We've got a delay.
Yeah, so sorry to cut you off there. Yeah, we do have a delay. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. So I'm going to take this slowly, and the edit will cut the pauses out.
Okay. So I guess the question was how do we go about teaching it? We teach a blueprint, right? We highly recommend people taking our blueprint and running with it in whatever direction. There's so many different niches, so many different things you can go after. They will become experts in their area. So in their specific region, maybe they're an expert in Atlanta, Georgia, or around that area. Maybe they're an expert in mobile home properties in Atlanta, Georgia. So we teach blueprints on how to buy it, how to market it, how to get it under market, like all the title and everything in between them. It's videos, it's us walking through actually doing it, very step-by-step guidelines to doing it. And then we have advanced modules for more advanced topics like how to read a deed in detail, make sure there's nothing on the deed, no restrictions, things like that. Very detailed type of lessons. But like I said, I want people to take it. This is not like a franchise. I want people to take it and run in whatever direction they are. Because what happens, and I love this, people come back to us after 6, 12, 18 months of doing it. And they're such an expert at one specific area. And I love to see that. They know way more than I do about that area. I learn from them. They learn a little from me. We bounce it off, and it just creates a much better community at the end.
Yeah, that's what we have with coaching and consulting. I absolutely learn from the people going through our training and the people who've qualified. They teach me every single day, and I really like that. I think it's a great model. And what platform are you using? We're on Kajabi. What are you using?
We're on Teachable right now, but a lot of our resources and everything are actually on our website hosted in there, and then the videos are connected to Teachable. But we have a lot of other resources and contracts and templates and everything because we do provide the blueprint. So all the templates and contracts you're sending out and the sales agreements on the sales side and all that stuff, that's hosted more on our website, but the videos are on Teachable.
Great. And how are you getting that message out there with the online learning?
Our main thing is just the message in general. We spread it everywhere. I mean, we have a YouTube and podcast and all that stuff, but anyone who's interested in quitting their 9 to 5 or they're interested in real estate and don't know where to start and they want that freedom that you're talking about, freedom of choice, all that. I mean, we're preaching the same thing, Rebecca, which is why I came to you and wanted to approach this podcast is because we're really approaching the same type of methods. But yeah, we like to spread the word of freedom and whatever method that is. We have our YouTube and podcast and all of that stuff.
Okay, so we signed up to a guy called Jason Squires in the UK. Who's taught us how to use LinkedIn and do funnel marketing from LinkedIn. So I can highly recommend him. It's proving to be worthwhile. Do you run sort of introductory workshops for our listeners who might think, "Ooh, let me find out a bit more"?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we do, we provide a ton of free value. I really don't care. I'm not here to make the money. My land investing business makes the money. I'm not here to completely sell you guys. I want to make sure it's aligned with you guys. We have a ton of free resources. Every Wednesday we get on a call with everyone for an hour and a half, go over any questions. It's a live Q&A every single Wednesday. We do a free lunch and learn. We have a free Discord community. If you guys just go to landinvestingonline.com, you're interested in land investing or real estate in general, you can learn about it there. No pressure to buy anything. There are 500 plus people in the Discord who don't pay us $1 at all. And they're just there for value. That's what I'm here to do. Just teach you about the business model and see if it's for you.
Yeah. I think the landscape of that operating your own self-employed model is changing, and I see clear, distinct changes. I don't know whether you see it at all. We've done some research in the States, and what we found is that there's a lot of high pressure sales tactics from a lot of organizations to try and get people to sign up, and we've rejected that wholeheartedly, actually, and sort of laid our stall out and gone, do you know, if it's for you, great. If it's not, fine. Really don't have to sign up if you don't want to. And that seems to be approach you're
Exactly.
taking. And is that because you've had your fingers burnt in the past, or you're aware of horror
Yeah,
stories?
I'm not. It's just not my style. I don't wanna pressure someone, like, if entrepreneurship is such a grind, as you know, it's not easy, like, you're going to have major, major ups and major, major downs, and you need to be in it. You need to be 100% committed, and I don't think by pressuring someone to pull the trigger just out of a little bit of a dopamine rush from hearing a podcast or something is this right strategy. Like, I don't think that's providing the freedom. That's not what I'm trying to push. I want it to be aligned with the people because I think that's going to be the most successful person. It's the one who has gone through the funnel. They've learned about it. Hey, is this for me or not? I've just researched 20 hours. I got on the webinars. I did all that. Is it for me or not? I don't want to pressure people to join. Like, I'd rather have 10 people join that are 100% committed than 100 people to join and that aren't committed.
Totally. I totally agree. So that begs the question, where are these high pressure, and they are often franchises, not always, but often in the B2B space. I think in the B2C space, I think it's probably different, particularly with the big food franchises. They're very, very different. They operate on a completely different playing field. But I think a lot of the B2B ones, I think they're quite old fashioned. And I don't know whether you feel that too.
Yeah, no, I definitely do. I feel like a lot of just the sales funnels and marketing in general are a little bit old fashioned. I feel like we have a lot of catching up to do. And I think that's just where we're always trying to be on top of it. Rebecca, I've always just approached the value aspect. I feel like if I provide a lot of value to people, things are just going to naturally play out from a karma perspective because I want to help the other people and just from a business perspective because just providing that kind of free value, I feel like it's just the way it should be. I don't think everyone needs to pay and be forced to pay something to learn something. I just don't believe in that.
No, I totally agree. I totally agree. Okay. So what do you do outside of building this amazing company? And by the way, I think giving people financial freedom and the freedom to choose the life they lead, I think is the best job in the world, however you decide to do it. Because I can imagine actually you can learn this stuff and still work part-time if you want to work part-time. You can still keep your full-time job if you want to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Part time, most of our people who actually join are part time. I preach that, like, if you don't want to work full time, don't work full time. If you want to spend more time with your family or travel or whatever, that's completely there. But that's kind of what we preach. Like, that is the freedom of choice. Like, ultimately, what do you want to do with your extra time? What do you want to do with the extra money? For me personally, I was able to move from Ohio to Tampa, and now I live in Florida. I travel around. I have a dog, and we live in an apartment with my girlfriend, and we do all kinds of things. We travel. I love to hike. We go to the beach. We go on boats all the time. So for me, anything outdoors, that's what I like to spend my time doing. I just bought 40 acres of land up in Kentucky, northern Kentucky, which is outside Cincinnati, my hometown, to
Mm.
keep. And we're putting a cabin on it to get away, putting little solar panels in a cabin and things like that, because that's my escape. I love nature. So in my free time, I'm usually outdoors hiking or at the beach or on a boat or things like that. That's what I love to do.
Oh, that's so exciting. Whereabouts in Ohio did you used to live?
I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Oh, you've Cincinnati. Right. Okay. Okay. I spent a summer in Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay. Yeah. I've spent a lot of time up in Cleveland. What brought you to Cleveland? That's random coming from Scotland.
I know it was very random. So I was a student and I worked as a waitress in Cleveland, Ohio, in Little
Okay.
Italy. In fact, I was the world's worst waitress, Daniel. I mean, my God, I was terrible. Um, but I would burn the bread, I'd forget the salad, just awful. But they were really forgiving. The clientele there were just lovely. They were all Italian Americans, and they were so funny because they none of them had ever been to Italy. I had been to Italy more often than they had ever been to Italy. There were such generous people. They were so nice and very forgiving of my terrible waitressing skills. But they all thought I was Irish or Australian. I'm not Scottish, by the way. I am English, but I happen to live in Scotland. Nobody guessed I
Oh.
was English.
Ah, got it.
Yeah, it just confuses the hell out of people. Yeah. Oh no, great part of the world. So Kentucky, log cabin, going out, doing things in nature. What kind of dog have you got?
It's a doodle mixed. So she's a Newfoundland. So she's a big dog. She's a Newfoundland mixed with a poodle. I got the poodle part just because I didn't want all the shedding and all. I love dogs in general. I could have any dog and be happy. But she's a Newfie poo is what they call them. Actually, it's an odd word, but yeah,
It
she's
is
really
sweet.
sweet dog. She travels around with us. I got a new big car. I throw her in the back and we just go on some road trips up in the mountains and stuff.
Oh, that's lovely. I have two dogs. So I have a 7-year-old cross between a Tibetan and a Havanese, and a
Ah,
4-month-old cross between a Tibetan and a working cocker.
wow. Your
Yeah,
hands are full. Four
yeah, they
months.
are. So two of my elder children left home. I have replaced them with another dog.
There, there you go.
And let me tell you, the dogs are easier than the kids. Okay.
Yeah, I believe that. I haven't had kids yet, but I've only imagined.
They're a lot easier. Okay, so where are you going to take this business? What happens next?
I right now we're scaling out the land investing portion, but I see the future as I in the US, I don't know how it is in the UK, but in the US, the educational system is transforming.
Mm.
Universities here are extremely expensive, and people are going in a lot of debt to go in them and then coming out and not even pursuing what they're going to college for. So I don't want to say attacking the traditional educational space, but that's what I'm going up against. I want people to have other options, people to have better return on investments than going to college. There's one point going to college was one of the best ROIs you can get, but things have changed. Employers like Google and Facebook aren't necessarily requiring bachelor's degrees anymore. And since they're starting to not, that trickles down to the whole system. And I feel like people are going to start looking for more and more alternative ways to invest in themselves, invest in education. So I see it as as an educational company now, and I'm going to try to really keep pursuing that space. Right now, it's land investing. I see a future with other things aligned, maybe having professors and teachers under us at them and growing it out that way. I just really want people to have an option that, hey, going to college isn't for me. Let's try something else. Let's maybe try something else, not going $100,000 of debt. Like I know over in the UK and Europe, it's big to go on gap years and things like that.
Yeah.
I actually went on a gap year. I took a year off and went on a gap year, and that helped me a ton. So I just feel like in the US, you're stuck in this whole funnel, and the goal is to get you to take out debt to help the system, to go to college, come out in a lot of debt, work, pay off your debt, buy a house, buy a mortgage. I want to open people's eyes a little bit and have other options so they don't get stuck in the 9 to 5 grunt that a lot of people do.
Music to my ears, Daniel. Music to my ears. Yeah. So I have last child at home. She's nearly 14. I'm just about to enroll her on an investment club training for
Love that.
exactly that reason, because the education system only teaches, certainly here in the UK, teaches you one way. You either get exams and go to university or college, or you don't get exams and you go and do an apprenticeship, and that's it. And if
Yep.
you're not in those two categories, then you're counted here as a NEET, not in education, training, or work, and you're kind of almost written off. But you're right, there are so many other options available to people, and it's all online. And most of it, you can get yourself to a certain level for free. You usually have to pay a bit to unlock the last piece of the jigsaw, which is absolutely fair enough. But yeah, most of it is available there. So I love the fact that you're turning this into a proper education system. I think that's fantastic. Is there some kind of accredited body, some kind of accreditation that you can go for?
I don't really know what the future looks like in it. I'm at the beginning stages, I feel like, of this whole journey. I see it as my mission is to provide freedom to people, and I kind of work backwards from there. And,
Mhm.
we naturally got a ton of college people coming into our program, and people who are that college age and they don't know what to do. You're talking about an 18-year-old, Rebecca. I didn't know. I was a C and D and F student in high school. I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I went to Israel for a year to try to figure it out from there. And then I came back, and taking that year off really helped me.
Mm.
But I see so much potential in your space and my space just for the future of education. Like it is just changing. I don't know where that's going to take us. I don't know what kind of certifications we need to do to keep raising that standard or raising that bar and become more official. So maybe
Mhm.
parents start looking at us differently, or parents start to preach their kids. Maybe parents are going to pitch their kids about our company one day. Like, I don't know what the future looks like. It's so new. The education system's very, very powerful, higher education. So it's going to be a long process to really kind of attack that, I feel like. But I see it, like it is coming. You can feel the movement here in the US against the traditional educational methods. More and more people are homeschooling. That's
Yeah.
bigger than ever. I think that's a sign as well.
Yeah, definitely. Well, my friend's son's just gone to do computer science, a really good university in England, but it takes 5 years to get the degree course accredited. So his computer science that he's learning is 5 years out of date, minimum
Wow.
5 years out of date. So that, and again, anybody who's doing a digital marketing degree, well, why? Because they'll change the algorithm next week and everything you learn from the degree will be out the window. So again, I think the world's moving so quickly that actually those traditional models just aren't fit for purpose. Our content, hopefully, is about to be accepted by a university in Malaysia.
Wow.
Yeah. So they are ahead of the game. They are nearly all online as a university. They have set themselves up as an online university. They've just got university status from the Malaysian authorities. And they are doing obviously some live classes because of some of the nature of what they teach, and in-person classes, but the vast majority of their offering is online. And yeah, well, our product is about to go into there at diploma level, we think first, and then go up another level. So yeah,
That's
delighted.
huge.
It's massive, isn't it?
That's incredible.
Yeah,
Wow.
I know it's quite exciting. but that do you know that came from lockdown? That came from the fact that somebody in Kuala Lumpur, Natalie, she's called, found our stuff online when I want to learn something, and she went, I specifically want to learn it from a Western perspective.
Mhm.
I want either a US or a UK trainer. And she learnt our stuff. And then she went, do you know, this would really work in Malaysia. Can I take it there? I'm like, sure, we'll collaborate. Yeah, the more people who learn this stuff, the better. On you go. So that's how it's come about. So you never know where your stuff will end up.
That is so cool. That's exciting. I've like my mind has never even thought about the international perspective of it, and you just opened that up. That's really, really exciting stuff.
It
And
is.
what
Well,
another cool thing that I've heard, like I was listening to a conference with Ed Milet. I don't know if you've ever heard Ed Milet. He's growing business guy. I love Ed Milet. He's a really good guy. He's a big business entrepreneur. And he like in America, you see all the entrepreneurial or you see all the cultural challenges right now. And I think internationally too, like there's a lot of cultural challenges, political in the US, especially the
mm,
right versus the left and all this different stuff. And Ed Milet always says entrepreneurs are the future and the
yeah,
solution to the cultural damage that we have right now. And that's like a whole nother thing of purpose to me. Like that when I heard that sentence of how much entrepreneurs are affecting the culture in the world, it really opened my eyes up. And I just love to see that purpose and potential with just our businesses.
yeah. We make a difference. I don't care who you vote for. I really couldn't give a stuff, okay? As long as you're a decent human being, okay, and
Exactly.
you treat people nicely, I don't care what you believe in, what you don't believe in. I don't care whether you're gay, straight, bi, whatever it happens. I really don't care. And most entrepreneurs are exactly the same. They're just like, we just want to do business with people that we like doing business with and do more of it. And that's
Exactly.
it.
Yep. Exactly.
The other reason I think entrepreneurs are a massive solution to many issues is that we're really creative. You know, you talked about what I think was maybe a low grade average. Would that be right? It wasn't a high. You didn't say A's and B's, and I'm assuming they're the top and they don't inverse the scale in the States.
No, yeah, no, it's I was borderline like I didn't get into any university. I was declined from all university pretty much. I just yeah, it wasn't for me.
No, turned out did you a massive favor. Anyway, the the point is that actually most entrepreneurs are rejected. They're spat out from the school system or the traditional school system because they don't fit. And I was at a conference, entrepreneurial conference, some time ago, probably 10 years ago now. And the guy doing the talk said, who in the audience is dyslexic? And 60% of the audience put their hands up.
Wow.
So entrepreneurs find solutions because they are accustomed, particularly if they're dyslexic, to doing workarounds. Because people who are dyslexic have to do workarounds the whole time and solve problems differently to
Absolutely.
the way the world's set up. And again, I was at a talk last week. Guy left school at 15, trained as a joiner carpenter in American language. His business is flying. It's now a global business. He got £500,000 with investment last year.
Wow.
Didn't go anywhere near a university because, again, it wasn't right for him. No, it's great for some people. It's brilliant
Absolutely.
for some people. But actually, entrepreneurs are the creators. They're the innovators. They're the people who solve most of the world's problems because necessity is the mother of invention, Daniel. And we're constantly going, oh, how are we going to sort that out?
Yeah, exactly. No, you said it spot on. I don't want to bash university because I want the doctors and lawyers and a lot of engineers. Like you have to, there's definitely a place for education. It's not like it's just going to be evaporated higher university, but like you said, a lot of the creators and entrepreneurs, it's just, there's a lot of times very little to no point to do it. I was actually at the Salvador Dali Museum this week. It's in St. Petersburg. And I was reading about his story and his bio and everything. And it made me think what you were just saying made me just think, because he went to university and his dad always wanted him to be a professor. He was an artist, obviously, and he wanted to be a professor. And then they wanted him to do a presentation on something and they gave him a bad grade or something. And he put up a big fit and he ended up getting expelled from university. And that's one of the best artists of all time. So obviously artists don't need to go to university, but it was just interesting seeing he got expelled from university and was never allowed back.
No, because he thought too differently.
Exactly.
Yeah. And look, yeah, fabulous. I love it. Okay, so if your business had a character or personality, Daniel, how would you describe it or who would it be?
I think a personality, very, very action oriented and confident, I think, because as entrepreneurs, you have to believe in yourself. You have to put one step forward. You're going to get knocked down, put one step forward. It's almost like grit. I think the personality is like grit, get back up from being knocked down and try to move forward. Anyone who really wants to take action, move forward in their entrepreneurship career, that's what we love. There's so many people, Rebecca, I'm sure you see it too, people who invest in themselves, invest in the program, and then never actually take action. And that kills me because they want to make change, but they're not taking action. So that's the thing that we preach. You got to put one step after forward. It's not about the speed. You said you can work part-time at a lot of entrepreneurship stuff, to leave your 9 to 5. I see people working 5-10 hours a week and doing it. It's not about putting in 50, 60 hours necessarily. It's about just constantly moving forward, move forward a little bit each day, move that needle forward. Look back in 6 months and see, it might not feel you're going far day to day, but look back in 6, 12 months and see how far you come just from pushing that needle a little bit further every day.
Yeah. Oh, amen to that, Daniel. Amen to that. I love it. I can't add anything else to that. I think that's put it beautifully. Yeah, if you're gonna do it, just take the baby steps and you will absolutely get there. Yeah, definitely. That's amazing. Listen, I wish you all the luck in the world, Daniel. I'm going to keep you on for a minute while we process this, but we'll stop the recording just now. So best of luck, and I will watch your journey with great interest.
Thanks for having me, Rebecca. It was a pleasure.
The Entrepreneurial Journey Podcast. We're talking business and building a culture that's kick-ass, where we make it happen.